Hello, I'm Justin Berkey, and I'm joined today by Mark. Mark is one of the founders of the Core 7 referral system, and he's also the author of an Amazon best-selling book called What's Your Rate? It's about personal finance. The reason we're talking to Mark is not only did he help create the Core 7 referral system, but he's still a top producing mortgage originator, one of the top producing in the country. What makes his business unique is that he derives almost all of it from his Core 7 network and past clients, friends, and family. So, Mark, let's talk about the benefits that this has had in regards to your business.
Well, Justin, I've been in the mortgage business for almost 20 years. And in my earlier years, I used to put up some really big numbers. I broke the $100 million mark multiple times, closed close to 500 units a year pretty consistently. But I was working 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, and I wasn't really confident that I had the strong relationships that were needed. I really didn't feel like a partnership and a team effort. So even though I did a lot of business and was making a lot of money, I wasn't really happy because I really didn't know where the next deal was coming from and that the business could just shut down at any time.
That's interesting. You were doing a lot of business, but it wasn't where you wanted it to be. So what does your business look like now?
Well, now it's different. I only work about 3 to 4 days a week in my mortgage origination business. I do not work weekends. And I have a predictable, systematic business, and I'm really clear where my next referral is coming from. I'm real confident that I have a sustainable business.
So what do your numbers look like now? And talk a little bit about your schedule, how that comes together.
Well, right now, I close anywhere from 40 to 50 million in loans per year, which is about 100 to 120 units. And I'm working with people I really like, and I feel like I'm making an impact in those clients' lives by helping them create a full Core 7 financial team and to get their whole financial house together.
So, Mark, you and I have personally discussed how you like to set up a protective wall for your clients, and that's sort of more your terminology than it is mine. And a lot of that is based on personal experience, and you've said, this is why I got into the mortgage industry, this is why I got into writing a book, this is why I started Core 7. Can you talk about your personal experience and what led you here?
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, my family was pretty comfortable. My mom and dad had a thriving business. We had a very nice home in Newton, Massachusetts. We had a summer home on Cape Cod, and things were really going well. My sister and I, we felt we had a pretty perfect life and a pretty good family situation. Then in 1986, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer and passed away 6 weeks later and had no life insurance. So over the next few years, I watched my mom work really hard to maintain the same lifestyle for my sister and I. And the result of this was she ended up spending her entire savings. We had to sell the summer house. We had to eventually sell the Newton house. And she actually had to sell her business also, and all totaled, this was well over $1 million.
So there's a bit of an unfortunate ironic twist to this. Can you share with us what your parents did for a living?
They sold insurance, property and casualty insurance, and my mom was actually in the process of getting her life accident and health license at the time of my dad's death. This is just the classic case of the cobbler's children having no shoes.
Yeah, so funny, but not so funny. So lo and behold, years later, her son becomes a mortgage originator.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that always made me laugh was the fact that my mother thought her mortgage originator, who had done the loans for the Cape House, and the Newton House was the best and did an amazing job. And my mother was a smart woman, so I didn't think much of it until I became a mortgage originator myself. So one day I asked my mother, Mom, if your mortgage originator was so great, why didn't he suggest you speak with a financial advisor to evaluate how the changes in your mortgage structure would affect your overall financial plan? After I said that, I think she realized that he probably didn't even mention it just because he thought that they knew exactly what they were doing because they were in the insurance business and she already had this covered.
Yeah, that's probably true. A lot of assumptions made, and that's something I feel most likely happens more often than not when a professional assumes that someone isn't interested or doesn't want to be pushy. The one small move that could have made a huge difference wasn't done. So that was your inspiration behind the Core 7 referral system in your book, huh?
Yes, it was. And, I know I can make a difference and help clients get way ahead in their pursuit of financial freedom. Usually when they're making what is typically their first major financial investment, which is the purchase of their first home.
I appreciate you sharing all the personal information, Mark. I think that brings a lot of information to the table about what this is really all about. Let's segue now straight into the Core 7 referral system. So this system is created specifically for Core 7 professionals and how they work together in a systematic, predictable, and accountable partnership. Now, I know from our conversations that the system was created over a long period of time through trial and error. And by taking the best strategies that you learned from this process and by working with the other Core 7 professionals over the past 20 years or so in business and generating hundreds and hundreds of referrals for all of the Core 7 partners. So, Mark, as you and I get rolling and start to discuss more about the Core 7 system, we're inevitably going to go over some of the same points 3 or 4 times. And the reason for that is that we really want people to walk away with a full understanding about how these groups are managed and organized. So let's take a deep dive into this. You've been traveling the country asking Core 7 professionals about the top complaints they have regarding referrals. Can you give us, let's just say, the top 5 or so that you hear?
The number one complaint was that the referrals were given at the wrong time in the process.
Can you give us a specific example?
Sure, Justin, absolutely. An example of that is like when a real estate agent refers a client to be pre-approved and the customer already has an accepted offer on the property, instead of referring it before so the customer can get pre-approved and understand all of their options.
It's kind of like going on a trip and then looking to book the hotel when you get there. It's not really the best plan.
Exactly.
So what's the second complaint?
The second complaint is that the referrals were given with poor scripting and not a very strong endorsement. For example, they'll say, give this guy a call and see what his rates are, instead of a strong endorsement like, Mark is going to call you. I've worked with him for a long time. He does a great job for all of his clients, and he'll really be a valuable resource for you. The third complaint we heard was the giving out of multiple cards, therefore creating a bidding war on price instead of value. By putting a focus on price alone, it creates indecision, gives the client an idea that it's really not important who they use, that they can use anybody, that they should only focus on the price.
It's like saying it really doesn't matter who you choose, and you know what? To me, I don't think it matters either. So let's talk about the fourth complaint.
Complaint number 4 is that clients are being referred by the wrong professional. Now, what I mean by this, for example, is the real estate attorney or the real estate agent making the referral to the estate planning attorney for a will. The natural person that should be referring this is the financial advisor. The reason is because it makes sense to know which assets need to be protected, need to be passed on, what the investments are before the estate plan is actually created.
Yeah, that makes total sense because no one would ever say not to refer, but there are better referral points that should have more focus.
And the most popular complaint, and the one that this system is really based around, was the lack of accountability when it came to referrals from their business partners. Almost every professional desired more accountability and a more systematic process with their partners.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration when you have a great meeting and then a referral doesn't come your way. Core 7 is clear on the timing and accountability of referrals. This also speaks to complaint number 4. You're very clear on how it is coming in. So Mark, you execute Core 7 to a T. Tell us about the amount of business you receive from your Core 7 team.
Yes, Justin. As a mortgage originator, my particular Core 7 group was responsible for $250,000 of my income in the past year.
$250,000.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Tell us about some of the highlights from all members and how they benefited. Let's go through that.
Okay. Well, the key thing to remember is that my team really works the Core 7 system and follows the process. So let me start with me. As the mortgage originator, I received $12 million in closed loans from my Core 7 real estate partner. That's $12 million in loan volume.
From one agent.
From one agent.
12
yes.
million from one agent.
I received $7 million in closed loans from my Core 7 financial advisor partner.
That's phenomenal. And the mortgage originator isn't even a primary target for the financial advisor. We'll get more into primary and secondary targets later. So Mark, how much did you receive from the rest of the group?
Well, the rest of the group, other than the realtor and the financial advisor, I received a total of another $6 million in closed loans from the rest of the group.
So let me see if my math's right, but that's you closed $25 million just from one Core 7 group.
Yep.
Now, what I find to be amazing is how many referrals you're able to give to realtors and CFPs by working the system. How many referrals were you able to give out working the system?
Thank you for asking that question. I work really hard to try to be at least as valuable to my business partners as they are to me. We really hit our stride over the last 18 months. I was able to give over 50 referrals to my financial advisor and 18 closed referrals to my real estate partner over the last 18 months.
50 referrals to the CFP partner, 18 referrals that closed to your realtor?
Yep.
Of the realtors we surveyed, we did not receive numbers even close to that. Now, I know we're going to discuss the how later, but let's continue to discuss how many referrals your Core 7 realtor partner received from others.
The Core 7 realtor partner received a total of 15 closed transactions from the financial professionals, which are the accountant, the estate planning attorney, and the property and casualty insurance person.
So that's 18 from you and 15 from the rest, 33 closings? So the Core 7 realtor can equate 33 closings to this group of 6 professionals. That's really amazing.
Yeah, it really is. But what I found even more amazing is that the Core 7 realtor received over 75 referrals that became new additions to his database. So they didn't have a realtor relationship yet. So when these people are going to purchase a home or sell a property, or if they have a friend or a family member who will, this Core 7 realtor will be the realtor that they work with.
So this realtor has a pipeline of people that will close at a later date.
And the best thing is this number should keep growing as we continue to execute the Core 7 with more people. So he should always have just a stable of people that he's always working with and following up with.
All right. Let's move on and discuss how your Core 7 financial advisor did.
All right, great. Well, on top of the 50 referrals that he received from me, the mortgage originator, our financial advisor received 9 solid referrals from the accountant, as well as multiple referrals from the real estate attorney, estate planning attorney, and the property and casualty insurance agent.
And I'm sure the referrals from the CPA and the estate planning attorney included a few larger cases as they work with business owners who need more planning.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the real the big home runs, obviously.
Yep. So tell me about the PNC agent.
the P&C agent received 53 referrals from the mortgage originator, financial advisor, and the other professionals in the group.
Yeah, I would think these would be pretty easy handoffs, especially during a home purchase. Let's talk about the estate planning attorney. How'd they do?
Yeah, the estate planning attorney did fantastic. Our estate planning attorney did estate plans for roughly 75% of the referrals that went to the financial advisor from all the professionals in the group. A key statistic that we came up with is the average yearly income for each individual in the group was about $60,000.
It's not a bad return for a $3,000 investment in the Core 7.
Absolutely.
All right, let's. Could you comment on the accountability of the system? So where I think the real value of Core 7 comes from is the accountability. I mean, you know what to expect, and that doesn't happen that often.
That's correct, Justin. The Core 7 system is based on specific predictable referral points in each professional's process, where each professional is accountable to refer certain Core 7 professionals in a very scripted way.
So that makes a lot of sense. A saying we have at Core 7 is that we don't assume the referral is made. We track and account for referrals so they come frequently and consistently. So Mark, when you're traveling around the country, you're talking with other Core 7 professionals, what are you telling them about the system? How are we describing the system?
I ask a lot of different questions. I like to give them an idea what their business could look like with the help of Core 7. I ask every professional in the group, what would your business look like if each professional in the group was executing a specific referral script at the exact same point in the process? I get more specific with each professional. When I talk to the mortgage originators, I always ask them, what would your business look like if your realtor partner was referring only you to their clients early on in the process with a predictable referral script and a strong endorsement every single time? When I speak to the realtors, I ask them, what would your business look like if the 4 financial professionals, the accountant, the property and casualty insurance agent, the estate planning attorney, and the financial advisor were making introductions for equity assessments and value checks every time they discussed the client's net worth or real estate value?
Yeah, those sound good, Mark. Those sound really good. I know that there are a few for the financial advisor that you like to talk about. Can you go over those as well?
Yeah, the financial advisor, these are some things that I found are really effective. For the financial advisor, I'll basically say, what would your business look like if the mortgage originator on your team was introducing you to every client they spoke with who was either buying or refinancing a home? Another great one for the financial advisor is, what would your business look like if the real estate attorney was making the introduction to every client they did a closing with to discuss how the purchase or refinance would affect their estate, and that they should discuss their full financial plan at this critical time in life. I get great feedback from that. And another one is just, what would your business look like if your accountant partner was asking the proper questions on each tax return to introduce you at the proper time with the proper scripting, when people are doing their taxes. And there's so many more, so many questions I ask that really get people saying, wow, that would be great. And it's just a perfect fit for the Core 7 system.
So this all sounds really good, but here's the big question. How do you manage and track and keep the whole thing going?
Yeah, that's the part that's really unique. All of these actions are managed in the Core 7 structured mastermind groups.
So that's where the accountability comes in, yeah. So how are these groups structured? Can you give us some feedback on that?
Yeah, the Core 7, the groups, they meet 3 times a month. Okay, one is with all 7 members, and then there are 2 that are broken into smaller groups that we call the one-on-one partnership planning sessions. Each meeting has a pre-planned meeting agenda equipped with step-by-step discussion topics and lessons designed to generate business in a predictable, trackable way.
So that's great. I've been part of networking groups where they really turn into like these coffee breaks, kind of, and you're just talking about your families and whatever else you're talking about. To have these set agendas and set goals, it's incredibly effective.
Yeah, it keeps everybody on point, and it gives a specific action that is going to make sense, and a predictable outcome will happen.
That sounds good. So let's talk a little bit more about how the one-on-ones are structured. I know that the meetings are staggered monthly as one group meeting, and then there's two one-on-one meetings. But get into more detail about those.
Well, once a month, there's a group meeting where all 7 members, as we discussed, are present. And then there are 2 smaller forums, which is really to focus on some of the more specific elements of the Core 7 system. For example, in the small group, the mortgage originator, the realtor, and the financial advisor might get together to discuss the cash flow cross-sell handoff on a purchase loan. Go into something a little bit more specific.
So it's a good opportunity for these guys to get down to the nitty gritty in a smaller setting. That makes sense. So let's get into some more real details. Let's talk about how the big groups are structured, the big group meetings, that is, are structured.
Well, the first thing we do is we, to keep the group organized, a timer is selected, as each topic has a specific time limit. Then we discuss what we call the oath, and we read it out loud each and every time, almost like the national anthem at a sporting event. And really, the oath is just the rules of engagement that each member must agree to and follow. The next step after the oath is each member discusses what's new and positive, and who do I need to meet. In this section of the meeting, it's where members ask the other members of the group who they need to meet that will help them with their business. This means any professional, any specific type of client. At Core 7, we have the abundance mentality where we know if we help our partners become successful, that they will help us become successful. It will come back tenfold. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. As a mortgage originator, I actually introduced a lot of other mortgage originators that I know to the real estate attorney and the property and casualty insurance agent in our group to help them grow their business. This triggered a lot of referrals. Even the real estate agent in our group introduced some mortgage originators that were calling on him to the real estate attorney and the property and casualty insurance agent. So it really triggered a bunch of good things.
I love that. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of psychology, but it's also a way to build trust, and it's also a way to get introductions very quickly to group members.
Absolutely. It gets them started right away. We do teach a methodology to follow, but this is a way where you ask someone for a type of professional that you want to meet, and if they know someone, you can make a call that day to talk about doing business. It's a great business building tool.
And I imagine that it's triggered dozens of introductions, yeah?
It absolutely has. For instance, the real estate agent and the financial advisor partner in my group have introduced me to a couple of their colleagues who they thought would benefit in working with me.
So, the real estate agent and the financial advisor in your group are introducing you to their colleagues, so other realtors and other financial planners. Is there any loyalty concerns there?
None at all. I actually, it made me feel like I had a greater responsibility in helping them grow their business after they did that for me.
That's great. So what's next?
Well, the next step of the mastermind meeting is the tracking section. Here, we track referrals with the Core 7 tracking grid. Now, the way it works is each professional is asked by the group leader who they referred. Then, the group leader confirms if the contact was made or not. If contact was made, it is marked as a referral on the tracking grid. If contact is not made, it does not count as a referral for that professional. So typically, follow-up is suggested, which is great for the group because that helps with more conversion of these referrals and introductions. Then there is a Core 7 lesson. Here we review a specific aspect of the Core 7 system. One group member is assigned to teach the segment, and a module is assigned for the group to watch on the Core 7 website before the meeting. And then one person in the group is put on the hot seat. And after that, there's homeworks given out for the next meeting, and feedback from the Core 7 is discussed.
So you gotta talk more about the hot seat. The hot seat is it sounds like it's bad, but tell us more about that.
Well, it works like this. One member at each group meeting's on the hot seat, where each member can ask specific questions, provide constructive criticism, and brainstorm ideas to improve the referral business and the quality of the mastermind group. The hot seat is based on 3 questions. Question number 1, what am I doing that you would like me to stop doing? Question number 2, what am I doing that you would like me to start doing? And how can I improve?
So it's almost like a tough love session, but it makes a lot of sense. So if the group member is not executing the system properly, it's addressed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The part of the oath is to maintain a safe environment so that everybody can be 100% honest with constructive feedback. I mean that's a critical part, is that everybody can be open and speak freely.
Yep. So I know in the Core 7 groups we actually have homework, which kind of differs from other networking groups like this. Talk about the homework, and then we also encourage guests to come in. Talk about that as well.
At the end of each group meeting, we assign the homework. This could be a training module to listen to. We then discuss any feedback, updates that we received from the Core 7 on questions we had from maybe some of the previous weeks. And we also try to bring in a guest that really it's another professional, other than the professionals in the Core 7, that can help the group. Like, for example, a business owner or an attorney that specializes in a certain field, like a divorce attorney and an electrician. Someone that can help us grow our business directory, if you will, for the Core 7, so we can expand into other areas if any of our clients need that.
And an important thing to note is if your group does not have all the Core 7 members, this guest section should be used to interview other Core 7 members. And once you get those members in your group, then you start bringing on other business professionals.
That's good feedback from the outside.
And the last thing we do is we assign the one-on-one partnership planning for the next 2 weeks.
Talk more about the one-on-ones. I think that's absolutely key to the system.
Well, the one-on-ones happen 2 times a month. They're called the one-on-ones, but potentially they can include 3 members sometimes. The purpose of the one-on-one meeting is to provide more focus on a specific aspect of the Core 7 system, to really dig down and perfect it.
Yeah, it's a fact that the clearer someone is about everyone's process, the better the execution, right? Mark, can you give an example of that? Elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. A great example would be the real estate agent, the mortgage professional, and the financial advisor. They would get together to review the process with a new homeowner, to review how real estate fits into a client's overall financial plan. And it's key to know how each professional is going to handle the client at each specific time, and where the proper handoff is, and when the referral and the introduction is made. So we would dig down and really get specific on that.
That's great, Mark. Before I close, I want to make sure that we address what Core 7 does to prepare the members for each mastermind meeting. Obviously, we want the meetings to be as productive as possible. Can you share a little bit of insight, a little bit more information on how the meetings are set?
Well, once you join a group and start your monthly meetings, you will get preset reminders from the Core 7. Roughly a week before and also on the day of, each member will receive a lead tracker worksheet. This is different from the tracking matrix. This will help you focus on your primary referral targets so you're prepared to be accountable at the meeting. You are also reminded about 10 days before the meeting to invite a guest. Now, on this guest reminder that you are sent via email, there's also a script that you can copy and paste and blast out to your social media channels like LinkedIn and Facebook to make the request to your friends and family if they know a guest that could present at the meeting. The third thing that we send out on the agenda is the Core 7 topic. We assign who will be teaching the lesson, and we also reference the audio that is in the Core 7 University section of the Core 7 website. The group will listen to this beforehand so they're prepared for the meeting. Also, the one-on-one partnership planning sessions that each member will have for that month are assigned. This way they can dive into the details and really perfect the process and accountability to each other. And as I said earlier, all this accountability benefits the partners of the group, but the person who benefits the most is the client.
That's right. The entire program, the entirety of Core 7 is set up around benefiting the clients. The approach is, as we've talked about, very methodical, very systematic, and highly, highly, highly accountable. In closing, whether you're going to build your business around the Core 7 like Mark has, or make it just part of your overall business, will be a huge benefit not only to the growth of your business, but also to your customer. Just think of it like this. If your competition has a trusted team of professionals in place and you don't, can you honestly say that you are the best choice for your clients?